for it.
Okay. Well, thank you for all those who have joined tonight. This is a repeat of probably 6 months ago, but I venture to say that I never, ever get tired of this discovery experience that FamilySearch has put on, of what's on the BYU Technology Lab, which is on all the stories, which is on the Family History Guide. And just like everything else in the computer world, they are adding things on to FamilySearch, onto this discovery experience all the time. And so I apologize if this feels like repetitive, but again, every time I get on there, this discovery and this feeling of love for my ancestors is strong. And so I am a cheerleader when it comes to this discovery experience. So first, I want to make sure that you can see my screen. Can you see that I am on FamilySearch and that I'm going to sign in? Perfect. Okay, so this is the journey we're going to go on tonight. So if you do not have a FamilySearch account, you do not have to be a member of the church. You can create an account, and you can have this experience. You do have to have at least 4 generations in order for the FamilySearch to create these experiences for you. And I'll show you as follows. So let me sign in. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to, in order to create the experience that I want to show you and that you can have, is that so I've signed in, and see where my name is. Over to the left is this question mark. I'm going to click on this question mark, and down here is helper resources. So it's question mark, helper, and then I'm going to click on my name. And here's where FamilySearch has created an incredible experience for me, and they will for you. So first, what I want to show you is, again, on FamilySearch, they have, I'm showing you my family tree. Well, if you notice, this family tree has all different colors. And over here on the right, it shows where my family's from. So as you can see, I have a lot from the United States. I have quite a few from the United Kingdom, Denmark, England, British Columbia of America, Isle of Man, Germany. Anyway, so it's kind of a fun discovery. So when I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about family, and sharing this with your family, with your nieces, nephews, grandchildren, sons, daughters. This captivates any age, of all ages. So, so again, we've hit the tree, and so now I've discovered, and I can discover, I see here, oh, I've got some work to do. And the likelihood is that they came from Denmark. So I know that the region that I need to do research on is Denmark. Sources, so if you see the scale here, these, when it's this dark color, it means I have 10 plus sources. Sources meaning birth certificates, census, marriage, those kind of sources. So I see that where I need a lot of work to be done, and it's Danish, and of finding more sources to authenticate this individual, to know more about this individual. Here you can see that I've got a lot of stories on my parents. some stories on my grandparents, and I've got a lot to do. So when people tell you they don't, they've got everything done on their family history, I could show you that, oh, I've got a lot to do. And you may think, well, these people, I don't have any journals. I don't have any stories. But how do we create stories? Let's go back to my sources. I've got a lot of sources. Through those sources, I can create an experience through marriage records, through censuses, and create a sort of story about my ancestor. Going still on my tree of photos, quite a few photos of ancestors. And again, if I'm creating this experience of love for my ancestors, how does it make you feel when you've never seen a photo of an ancestor and you see it for the first time? To me, that is everything. Pictures are what is that? Pictures are worth 1,000 words or something like that. Anyway, that creates this love experience of seeing and looking for more. And that's a class for another day, of using Facebook to creating a family organization to put on photos and say, this says it's my mom, but I don't recognize this place or time, and them sharing photos to see how we can create more experiences with photos. This also shows research helps, research suggestions, record hints, and data problems. And then for those that are members of the church, ordinances that need to be done. All right, so now we've kind of created this discover experience and what I need to do and what I'd like to do. So now we're going to go to the discovery experiences. And again, what FamilySearch has done is they've taken from my sources, from all those sources, and they've created this discovery experiences. And so probably a year ago, my son called me and said, "Mom, do we have any relatives that served in World War I?" And by golly, it was like, yes, his name's Tyler. And I said, yes. So I went over to his house and I shared this experience with him. So let's just go in. Let me show you how incredible this is. So first they go through the timeline of just letting us know the history of World War I, when it began, when it ends, start of the Spanish flu, all that kind of stuff. So then now I can click on the resource or the source. And what my son wanted to find out was if any of them had a Medal of Honor anyway, or something like that. So we went through all of our family, but again, we looked at this and we looked what kind of appointment he had and all this kind of stuff. And then we viewed our relationship. And third cousin twice removed. So so it shows here, we have 13 people in my family tree that served in World War I. And it's just fascinating. Now I have to remember, there we go. So let me open it up. Is there anything that anybody would say, hey, can we look at that? Granted, it's mine, so maybe that's kind of boring, but.
It is there.
What was that? Okay, and another thing, just fun. Oh, go ahead. There's an ancestor challenge, which I think is pretty fun. So I've done it with my kids. So it's a game that you play. And so I know who that is. I know it's my grandfather. Oh man, I'm gonna get, so anyway, it's this fun game of recognizing, oh, see, I got it wrong already. Okay, so anyway, just fun little things to bring us closer to our relatives. Pioneer children. Here's just one more thing, and then we're going to move on. This one is that I find fascinating is with your grandchildren, with your kids, is to I have a 10-year-old, no, I have a 12-year-old. Well, I have a 10-year-old grandchild also, is that I kind of scan through and see, okay, my grandson's name or my granddaughter is 10 years old. And I would say here, your great-great-great-grandfather, or probably 4 grades, I'm not sure. Anyway, was 10 years old, and he traveled for 125 days with a hand cart. Can you believe that? Anyway, doesn't this, and then you can explore, well, what did the Edward Martin Company do? So these were and then you can go through all the journals if you want, journal writings and newspapers, they've got it all there for you. And all the individuals that went with my great-great-grandfather on this handcart. Pretty cool, isn't it? So there's that discovery experience. Now, something that next, so again, remember that it's a question mark, helper resources, clicking on your name, and that will get you to this spot. Also, I believe going now in between indexing and temple, going to activities, I think it also does it too. Okay, so we're going to explore just for a few minutes the family history activities, which I think are so fun. First, where am I from? So what it does, again, it's taking your family history, and I can see, and I've put it to the number of generations. I've put it to 8 generations. So you can change that. So, so you can kind of get an idea of where I'm from. Okay, then up here, so that's generations. Then up here is my family lines. And what I can do is I can click on a parent here of a line that I want to discover. So I'll click on my mom, and I want to do my mom's side, and I'll kind of just create my own timeline of, and see, this is where, what my 1, 2, 3, third, fourth great grandmother, this is when they immigrated from Denmark to the United States. So I can, again, do some kind of discoveries. I can keep on going. And so I think that I'm a visual, and I love that visual. So the next, and if anybody has questions, I'm going to go through this super fast because there's so much to do. The next is my heritage, which this I think is new from the last time of the things that they've added here. So I'm going to choose, just for choosing's sake, United Kingdom. So this, I want to learn about my family heritage. So this gives my ancestors who came from the United Kingdom, goes from 4th great grandfathers, 5th great grandparents, and I can click on that name and I can discover. So this is the part up here that I think there's quite a few new things from the last time. So here's where it talks about in the United Kingdom, the typical foods of the United Kingdom and what they do. A typical family will eat 3 main meals per day, breakfast at 7, lunch at 1, and dinner and tea around 6 o'clock. And then recipes. So these are recipes that they gave you, but has there been a recipe that has been passed on from these grandparents, great-grandparents, that you could cook that? And I put this on Facebook and Instagram today, that you could make this recipe and film it, you know, do a video, and then send it to your family, and everybody create this recipe together, or do a Zoom dinner party with a night of United Kingdom food, and which I'm going to do with my family. That we'll all pick some English food and give it a try. So Yorkshire pudding, English tea cake, yeah. So they don't have a lot, but I'm wondering if some of the recipes from my family has come from United Kingdom. So again, just scanning through, just giving a history of what are the families like in the United Kingdom. The history of how you greet. I know United Kingdom, kind of boring. Hi, hello, you know, good afternoon, good evening. Except we've got to say it with an accent, and then it would be more fun, wouldn't it? Fun facts about the United Kingdom, the Big Ben. So anyway, these are things to explore. Hopefully you have something that's a little bit more fun, and as probably most of us come from United Kingdom, and traditions, Christmas traditions, and then churches. So I think this is an extremely fun and exciting discoveries about your families. If I want to change to something else, again, then it would take us through the food. So again, it shows the ancestors, the food, recipes. This, you know, a little bit different. Families, social, anyway. So this is how we can, and then when you're fixing this food, find some stories of your ancestors and talk about these stories. Make it fun so that it's not something that your kids yawn and go, oh, you're going to tell us another ancestry story. But if you bring the food into it, everybody will love it. Okay, so just quickly going, discover your relatives through so this is Find My Relatives. So these are the leaders that supposedly I'm related to, famous scientists, entertainers. So anyway, just kind of, I don't know how exact these are, and maybe that shows how exact my sources are, but it's kind of fun to think about. I do know that those individuals I am. So, so just looking through that with your grandkids and your children to think, oh, who I'm related to. Well, wait. Where's the entertainers? Oh, I guess I'm not very entertaining. Darn it. All right, and then, so this is a cool one of All About Me. What happened so now you know I'm an old lady. 1958, what happened? And what were the popular songs? Were the top technology? Isn't this fun? Isn't this what they've created? It's so cool. And again, so you can view a different year. And so I have a son that was born in 1985. So again, you take it, you get them into the experience, get them to love. So again, love is the key for this month. Get them to love where they came from, why they're here. Certainly, I would hope all of you have done a compare-a-face. If not, you have missed out on an incredible experience. I should have had this ready, but okay, so I'm going to take a photo. Maybe I'm not. Oh, because I'm on the wrong thing. So anyway, what you do is you take a photo of yourself, and then it will make an experience, or it'll go through all your pictures that you have on FamilySearch, and it will compare you. It could be 40% to 90%. A lot of times I'll get compared to my grandfather, like, cool, I look like a man, you know, but anyway, but it's fun. That's really fun. This, if you ever have a time that you say, I don't know how to start my family, my own life story, this helps you to do it all the way. So here, again, you're on FamilySearch, and it gives you questions. What is something you've accomplished? And so you can type your response, or you could record your response. And again, both of these are incredible avenues to take that, and then it later on you can add a picture to it. But what a great thing to do. So I've recorded, whoops. So I've done quite a bit by just taking the questions that they have. And so it goes through, like this month, it's all about your heart and soul. So take a minute, and what has been important in your life event. Take 5 minutes. You don't want to have this big long story, because your kids, after about 5 sentences, they're gonna lose all interest. But I don't know if any of you have had the same experience, but both of my parents have passed away, and I don't know all these stories. And so maybe right now you don't think your stories are very interesting, but I can darn well bet your stories become very, very interesting when you're no longer there. However, I made a story of, created a story with my kids, for my kids, of what kind of technology did I have in high school. And I told them about the Walkman and the 8-track, and I added pictures to it, and they thought it was hilarious. So again, take the time to create these stories. Just takes a few minutes. Just do like one a week or one a day or something like that. Fun to do with your kids. And again, it takes a picture from your photo album. You put it in there, and you can see what you look like as an American, English, Welsh, Canadian. It's kind of fun.
Tammy,
And then yes, go.
So I had a question with the stories. So, yes. So when you do the stories, how does your family get to those stories? Is it available like when you go into where your sources and stuff are, or how would your family see that?
Good question. They're not going to see it until you pass away, unless you tag it with, like if it's a story that I tell about my mom and dad, and then I tag that, and they'll be able to see it. No, this is all private. So I choose to share my stories, if I feel that they'll be interested in it, if it's a story that my grandchildren, that they would like to hear on as a bedtime story or something like that. So is that right, Pam? I'm pretty sure that it's just like photos. It's just like everything else. I'm a private person, and so it's not going to share.
So when you do pass away, will then these stories be on your person page?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
Yes, yes, it will. But don't pass away, Deb.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out, okay, how does this work? You know, so you do these stories, and if there isn't a way for your family to see them once you pass away or anyone passes
No,
away. So
absolutely. All of this will, because remember, so my brother passed away 5 years ago. So when they're alive, everybody's got their own personal identification number, but then you merge it all, and then all those stories that we had created before he passed away and pictures, all that is available to all of us now. But privacy, we need our privacy. All right, is there any other questions before I head on to a different place? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay.
Tammy?
Yes.
When she asked about the stories, I went and looked. I have a couple audios on there. So on mine, there's an option to make it public or private.
Okay.
And you can also download it.
Right. So I have downloaded it and sent it to my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but thank you. So you can have, there is an option for private or to share or for others to see them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would, if you put to share, then it would automatically go on your person page. Is that right?
Well, they can't see your person page.
Mm-mm.
So it would be,
sorry.
you would need to tag someone in it.
See, I forget that, you know, even though you've said it about 5 times.
Oh, no, you're fine. But if all the people that are living are in the story, you can download the story and send it to them in an email.
Perfect.
Okay, so our next one is the BYU Family History Technology Lab. And again, all these links are on Facebook and Instagram. So again, these are just fun little things to do with your family, with your grandkids. And why did I do that? So what it does is it takes, so again, in order for these games to be possible, you need to have a family search account and have at least 4 generations. And so it links you to your family search account. So I sign in, and you can create just multiple teams. I don't know how many teams, but it's quite a bit. And you can, depending upon the age of the kids, you usually just go to 4 generations, because kids don't know beyond that. And maybe parents don't either. But anyway, so it has the same, I don't know if you can hear it, but it has that, oh no, it doesn't. It's Wheel of Fortune that has a, but anyway, so it just goes through and you have this game. And I tell you that when we've done it with our family, with other families, this same discovery experience, people are quite competitive. And so fun game again. And so let me see which, because I wanted to show you something.
I think it's Hunter. Oh, I was wrong.
You were wrong. Okay, so this is so cool. So details. And so then if, and kids like to find out what's the weirdest name they have in their family history. And so anyway, you can take the time and it just gives you a little history of your family. But anyway, so then you just continue and go on. So it's so fun. I love it. And then here's the Wheel of Family Fortune. And again, having to log into FamilySearch, and they take your information from FamilySearch. And we'll, so again, can you guys hear? You probably can't hear the click, 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 click. Okay, I'll do it. Oh, shoot, gosh. Well, that's no fun. Okay, so, and it's not even gonna, seriously? And so you'll be able to see, okay, but you'll be able to see as you get a letter, because it'll show you what's been used and what hasn't been used. And again, highly competitive, it's so fun. You can play with it. Okay. There's lots of things to explore on BYU Technology Lab. This reverse indexing is, I'm going to be sending out a video to learn about this reverse indexing. It's a computerized indexing method that BYU family history place has discovered how to make indexing faster. I'll explain it later. But anyway, it's pretty, you're helping the computer to recognize certain lettering and all that kind of stuff. Pam, have you heard anything about this?
I have not.
Okay, cool. I know something more. No, I don't know anything more than Pam.
You know a
Okay.
lot more than Pam, trust me.
So anyway, that's an avenue to look at. The next thing I wanted to show you is all the stories. And again, this link is on Facebook and Instagram. And what I love about this is, you know, not only me has created stories, but other people in my family on FamilySearch has added stories. And you kind of pick your certain ones, but this gives you, so I'm going to log in. Again, it's going to take my FamilySearch. And so it's going to go through and it's going to find all the stories that are in my family history. And so you can search for a story. The unfortunate thing of this particular app is that it has to be in the title of searching for a story. So let's say flu. I don't have anything on flu. Pandemic. I don't have anything on the pandemic. Okay. Anyway, that'll direct you to these stories. Now, these times where it says 1 minute, 7 minutes, that doesn't mean how long it is. It just means how long it took to create the story. So anyway, if you're giving a talk in church or how about love? Because we're talking about love. Oh, look at this. Oh, it was written by me. Oh, embarrassing. Okay. Anyway, so I had put, is there a couple in your life who has been an enduring example of what true love should be? And it's about my sister. So anyway, kind of fun that all these stories are within one, and I can't, let's see how many stories. Well, did it create? Oh, I don't know how many it did, but anyway, it's a whole bunch. So I just wanted to share with you that. And last but not least is the FH guide. I wanted you, and this is the family history guide is, if you ever have a question about how to do different things on FamilySearch, Ancestry, MyHeritage, Find My Past, this is a great place to come to. It has videos of how-tos, it has handouts of how-tos, but tonight we're going to specifically go to the activities for family, individuals, youth, and kids corner, but we're going to concentrate on family since this month is about family and our ancestries. And so here's an avenue to that it's already kind of spelled out for you of different ways. So shows you how to play a game with the Family History Fun Basket. This is a game that we play with families when we take them through this discovery experience. And again, this is where the kids, so we've been discovering for the last 45 minutes, they've picked out the oddest name, and let me just share it to you with it. Oh, it's probably too long. You guys probably can't hear it though, can you? Because I haven't. Okay.
If you go to your share screen,
okay,
you can click on share computer audio or computer sound. So click like you're going to share again. And that window pops up, and at the very bottom is a check mark.
Oh yeah, there you go. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, now tell me if you can hear.
I really like the Family History
hear?
Fun Basket.
Give your grandma a hug and say I love you.
Yes.
Because when I think of
No.
activities,
Okay.
I can put them in there, and when we're together as a family, we can all go to the Family Fun Basket, pull out the activity, we're making memories.
Oh, this is a different game, sorry.
Mom, Dad, share a trait of an ancestor you would like to emulate. Who and why?
We're having those bonding moments where we're learning about our ancestors, we're learning about each other. It makes it super simple to do a really fun family history activity.
And it's funny because we have these hilarious moments, and it's probably not quiet the majority of the time, and there's wrestling on the couch and there's screaming in the background, but that's the joy of it. And we get to learn about our family while being a family, and it's amazing. What is your favorite food Grandma makes?
Blackberry jam.
Share your favorite family tradition.
If you could ask an ancestor a question, who would it be and what would you ask?
When I was in kindergarten.
So when we're together trying to do family history or family activities, we have to switch activities a lot, all the time, in order to keep them involved and engaged and not fighting with each other.
Yeah. Think of Oakley doing somersaults. Remember Bryce doing his forward rolls on the ottoman.
All right. Can you hear me? We're back to, okay.
Yes.
So anyway, going through and looking all the different opportunities of sharing, Google Earth, family charades, ancestor lookalike, all these things are ideas to do with family to create a loving experience. Plan ahead activities. Again, it's all spelled out for you of different ideas. When we're in a situation right now where we're so far apart with families, this is different ways that we can create and strengthen bonds of family. So again, we're going across this menu up here. Time capsules, the family journal, a generation photo collage, family traditions, documenting the past, giving ideas there. And again, this is the family history guide. So for these last few minutes, is there, open it up for any questions or a question that I have that was asked in this video. And maybe we'll end with this. If you had a question to ask your ancestor, who would you ask and what would you ask? So I open this up to you guys. Any thoughts?
I would ask my third great grandmother what her last name was and who her parents were.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? If you could ask any question of an ancestor.
I would ask
Who would-
my great-great-grandmother why she got married 5 times.
Oh, okay.
I had a great grandmother that lost 4 daughters within the diphtheria epidemic, and how did she cope with that? It just blows me away.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
But I bet you are a strong person because of her.
Probably. It just, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
I do think that with some of the sources that we have, we can kind of create the story for those that didn't write their own story. When we go to the images and look at each one of them, I gave a talk this Sunday and I talked about one of my great-great-grandmothers who, when I first looked at the records, it looked like she'd abandoned her child and went and started a new family. But as I started to find more and more records, I found that her life just had a lot of decisions taken away from her. She had postpartum depression in the 1880s and was put in an insane asylum.
Wow.
And the daughter was given up for adoption. Then, of course, 2 years later, she was declared sane again and released. But, as you find out more about them, you start to understand some of those decisions, and the paperwork, you get the initial resources, but then as you dig further, you can find answers to some of those questions.
Right. Right. That's what I've done for my third great grandfather. Is there's no stories. I know he immigrated from the Isle of Man and that he was a tailor and et cetera, through sources, but there's no stories.
But then at that time, what you could do is look up and see what a tailor shop looked like in the Isle of Man at that time period.
Yeah.
I had
Right.
one ancestor from Sweden who served in the military. And so I went to the New York Library because they had a book on Swedish military uniforms. I wanted to see what his uniform looked like. And they had a uniform change while he was serving. And so there was one uniform and then the uniform that he would have had when he left. But it was cool because,
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of details about him, but to be able to see kind of what he might have worn. And
Fun.
Yeah. So I think I would even just venture with my grandmothers to say, how did you meet Grandpa? I don't have any love stories to about that. And how did you meet? And was it, both of my grandmothers were 17 years old. I can't even imagine, but again, that was the period of time they died, earlier and they got married earlier. So that was, now it would be, people, at least in the United States, don't do it, but most of the time.
Well, and even I think looking at the ads in the newspaper, when you're looking up your relative's obit, look at some of the ads and see some of the interesting things that were going on at the time and the price of stuff. And that kind of helps fill in the details of their story too.
Right. And again, you could go to that discovery.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
The one that All About Me, where it tells you what the headlines were, what the song was.
Yep. So my grandmother was born in 1909. So what in 1909? No, it doesn't even have it.
Oh, I was going to say, what was the top 40 song then?
Yeah.
Then you could go to a newspaper and see what the headline was in 1909.
Or just my mom. Let's see, popular song of 1929. Tiptoe through the tulips.
My dad would sing that all the time.
Anyway, so yeah, so I think to me that would be, since it's February, to ask, what is your love story? How did you do it? And how did you make it through? Like Chris, you talked about,
yeah.
How did you make it through those different trials and thank them?
Definitely.
Thank them for all that, the examples, and for the opportunity to be alive because of them. So anyway, any other questions on how to get someplace, and any other comments? Julia, who would you want to ask? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Okay, I would ask my great-grandmother. My grandmother died with the influenza, left 5 little teeny children. And my dad and his 2 brothers were sent to an orphanage because none of the family would take them in on either side.
Wow.
So that made them have horrible lives, when they were growing up and just fending for themselves. My dad was like 6 years old, and he had a younger brother and one older, but they were all sent to the orphanage in Boise. And my dad never talked about it really because it was horrible, because they were so mean to him. So that's what I'd ask. Why? And there was 2 girls, and one went to each of their grandparents, but they wouldn't take the boys.
Gosh.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm sorry.
I would, that's what I'm sure it was during the time when it was a hardship, like 1919, but still, how would you give up your grandchildren, So that's what I would ask and find out, because I know how hard it was for my dad.
Yeah, that's what, looking at the history, going back and seeing the history of what is 1919 and child labor laws and, all those.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, yeah. Well, anyway, thank you, all of you. Is there any other comments, questions, sharing an ancestor, who you would ask? Otherwise, let's close. And again,